How's it going, everybody? This episode of the podcast is sponsored by 101 CBD. So just in case you haven't heard, raw CBD or CBDA is better for us because it's more bioavailable, which means that our body metabolizes it easier and with less time. Now CBDA, raw CBD, that cannabidiolic acid CBD, is the precursor to the CBD that we all know. But here's one of the amazing things about raw CBD. It isn't known to bind directly with the CB1 and CB2 receptors. Instead, it interacts with the endocannabinoid system by inhibiting the COX-2 enzymes. Now that's important because the COX-2 enzymes is associated with the inflammation that we get after an injury or infection. So by blocking that enzyme, that COX-2, CBDA can relieve inflammation and the associated pain. And this raw CBD, that CBDA, is what you get in every product from 101 CBD. So go over to 101cbd.org and order yourself and your pet some today. And don't forget at checkout to use coupon code IMGS25 to get 25% off of that order. And once again, I'm going to mention the smart people over at Delta Leaf Labs, because they've put together, among other things, a plant DNA sex testing kit that you can use to find out 4 times faster whether the plant that you're growing is a male or a female. They make it really easy to take a sample. You send that sample into the lab, and a couple of days after they get it, you'll know exactly what you have to work with. So go to deltaleaflabs.com to order your plant testing kits today. And don't forget at checkout to use coupon code IMGS10 to get 10% off of that order. All right, now let's get started. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, welcome back. This is the In My Grow Show, the podcast dedicated to taking the mystery out of cannabis. I'm your host, Alex. And in case you haven't noticed, this is a midweek show, and, well, it's going to be more like end of the week. It's going to come out probably around Thursday. But anyways, it's not the usual Sunday, and that's because this past Sunday, it was my birthday, so I decided to take the day off from recording and go do something with my family, which I don't usually do on Sundays because I'm usually inside my little cave, just recording and editing the show. But this time, I decided, you know what? I'm going to release it later in the week. Let's go do something fun. Now, later on, I'm going to play a conversation that I had recently with my buddy Justin Benton from 101 CBD. But that's going to be here in a little bit. So, as I was saying, yes, it was my birthday Sunday. We decided, I should say, my daughter, my brother, and I decided we would go to SneakerCon, which I got to tell you, I'd never heard of this thing before. I heard about it probably like a day before my birthday, that Saturday before, and we just decided, yeah, we're going to go. It was a really cool thing to check out. The sneaker culture is, well, it's like anything, man. It's like any subculture of anything, you know. People are really into it. And if you're not part of it, you know, it seems really crazy and wild, which what it seemed like to me. You know, I mean, to a point. You know, there is some kind of crossover between the sneaker culture and the cannabis culture, but yeah, there were a lot of people out there taking, you know, sneakers really seriously. So good on them, you know, that was really kind of cool to see, you know. All right, so moving on, you know what, I got to tell you, man, I feel a little off my game, not just because it's Thursday, but I think I'm coming down with a cold. Feeling kind of weird, all kind of sweaty. So, and it's going around. Possible. Very possible. I hope not. Nope, I'm going to take some vitamin C here. I'm going to take care of myself after I get off the mic. Okay, let's move on. Let's go to the strain of the week. And today, let's talk about the Sensi Star, which is a nice calming indica. You know, it had a very, let's say, peppery taste to it. Kind of a citrusy, kind of lemony taste also. Lemony, more orangey taste than lemony. But it was citrus. Peppery, it's that, what is that, beta-caryophyllene kind of flavor to it. Kind of spicy is what it seemed like. You know what, I was really surprised because even though it was an indica, you know, I could still, you know, get stuff done and function and actually work while I was, you know, using this flower while I was high. Because usually indicas will just like totally slow me down and just, you know, rob me of any kind of motivation. But not this one. I mean, it really was mellow, but it wasn't heavy, I guess is what I'm saying. And I guess part of that had something to do with the fact that it is a 19% THC, which, like I said, it's not too heavy for me. But I gotta say, this is not like a party weed. This isn't a party flower. I wouldn't take this bud, you know, I wouldn't roll joints and take this bud to a party. It would kind of just mellow everybody too much. Too mellow. I wouldn't do that to people. I like a nice lively party. But, if you need a nice light indica that's not going to really put you into couch lock, keep an eye out for the Sensi Star. All right, now let's move on to what's going on in my social media feed. And this is something that's a little bit local. The 805 Cannabis Society wants to let you know that on December 19th, 2019, from 7 p.m. to 10:30 p.m., they're going to have their holiday cannabis party networking event. And that's going to be at 216 East Gutierrez Street in Santa Barbara, California. And for ticket information, please go over to Instagram and look for at 805 Cannabis Society for more details on that. That sounds like a lot of fun. I always have a good time over there. I always meet a lot of really cool people to talk to. And also I meet a lot of really cool people to invite on the show. So if you can make it, go over there. Check it out on Instagram, 805 Cannabis Society. All right, now let's move on to the report from the Cannabis Frontline. The first article I'm going to read comes from The Marijuana Moment, and it is put together by Kimberly Lawson. And the title is, People Are Skipping Sleep Aids in Favor of Marijuana, Study Reports. It starts off, the scientific community is still unclear on whether or not marijuana can actually help treat sleep disturbances such as insomnia. A new study, however, found that fewer people purchase over-the-counter OTC sleep medication when they have legal access to cannabis. Our results show that the market share growth for sleep aids shrank with the entry of recreational cannabis dispensaries by more than 200% relative to the mean market share growth in our sample, and the strength of the association increases with each subsequent dispensary. And this paper was published in the December edition of Complementary Therapies in Medicine. In particular, cannabis appears to compete favorably with OTC sleep aids, especially those containing diphenhydramine, and doxylane. I don't think I got either one of those right. But it says which make up 87% of the market of OTC sleep aids. Yeah, I think I butchered both of those drugs. Researchers at the University of New Mexico and California State Polytechnical University used retail scanner data collected by the Nielsen Company to help them understand how access to recreational marijuana affects the sales of OTC sleep medications purchased at local stores in Colorado. So what they're saying is that basically, when people have access to legal cannabis, they're buying a lot less sleep aids, which I think is a good idea because, you always hear these horror stories about, people sleepwalking and doing some crazy things when they're on Ambien. I know when I've taken a sleep aid before, which has been a long time. I think last time I took it, I was staying a week in Texas or something. Anyways. So I know last time I took it, it always made me feel groggy when I woke up in the morning. And cannabis doesn't do that unless I get really high, like unless I'm doing dabs the night before, then I'll wake up really high still, but it's rare that I do dabs. So yeah, it makes sense that people are turning to cannabis. That's cool. I like it because it's also a very natural way for you to fall asleep, or I should say a more natural way, or a more organic, holistic way. What am I trying to say, folks? You know what I mean, right? Not natural, but more using a natural product. There you go. Using a natural product to fall asleep instead of using some other kind of chemical drug. All right, you know what? I'm just going to leave it there. But anyways, this is a cool article. Go over to the Marijuana Moment and look it up. All right, moving on. The next article comes from Normal. You can find it at normal.org. Go over there, get educated, and then become a member. And this was written by Paul Armentano. And it says, study finds little support for cannabis impacting cognitive abilities. And it starts off, the occasional use of cannabis during late adolescence is not independently associated with adverse effects on cognitive abilities in young adulthood, according to longitudinal data published in the journal Drug and Alcohol Dependence. Cannabis consumers were compared to their non-using twins in late adolescence and then again in their early 20s. Most of the cannabis-consuming participants in the study reported occasional use of the substance, but not daily use. Authors found little support for the casual effect of cannabis use on cognition. This conclusion is consistent with those from previous twin studies, which suggest that cannabis use does not cause a decline in cognitive abilities among nominative cannabis-using samples. Well, there you go, folks. Once again, one of these prohibition scare tactic arguments just doesn't hold water when we compare it to the science. And as always, I'm glad to see that these human studies are going on with cannabis. And that, my friends, is the report from the Cannabis Frontline today. And you can find links in the show notes to both of those articles so you can read them at your leisure. So as I said earlier, I recorded a conversation that I had with my buddy Justin from 101 CBD. I love talking to that guy. He's a lot of fun for me to talk to anyways. You know, and every time I have him on the show, I have to make sure I write down what I'm going to ask him. And that's because, you know, me and him, we get really easily taken down these paths of other conversations that we want to have with each other. And if I don't write those questions down, some of the things I want to ask him will not get asked. Because I meant to ask him about this city council meeting that he went to, and I forget which town he told me it was in, where the residents came out and they were just screaming at the hemp farmers because the hemp that we use for oil is very, very similar to the cannabis that we use to smoke to get high. The flower, it smell. I mean, I can't tell it apart other than smoking it. Just from looking at it, smelling it, and feeling it, it all seems the same to me, man. It's really stinky when it's flowering. So anyways, the residents of this town that they were having this meeting in just came out and yelling at these farmers apparently because of the smell that the hemp cultivation's creating. And I meant to ask him about that, but I didn't. I'll ask him about that some other time. So that's why I say I always just have to remember to write stuff down. But other than that, we had a really great conversation. So, man, do you hear my voice going? My voice is going. Anyways, so hang tight. I'm going to play a little bit of music, and then I'm going to put that on for you. Well, everybody, check it out. Once again, I've got my buddy Justin Benton from 101 CBD with me. Justin, brother, welcome back to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Thank you for the time. I know you've been running around a lot lately. You were just telling me you got back from what? San Diego's
CBD West Expo, put on by Mace Media and Terpenes and Testings magazine, and big event. Probably 50 or 60 different CBD companies, ancillary businesses. It was a good show. Little wet. We took the train down, but it was a lot of fun to be had, and it was good to see everybody down there. It was a real good vibe.
So you actually came back award-winning again, huh?
Yeah, you know, this one was cool because this was kind of like a little pet project for me was, you know, we were always looking to, you know, first and foremost, we take substance over style. So we want to make sure our products work as best as possible. And, you know, by focusing on the whole plant and keeping everything there, that's what gets that. But we also wanted to make it taste great. So we've experimented with some new testing and some new tastes and did a bunch of research and came up with this blueberry terpene and flavor. So it's actually a blueberry terpene flavor. It's not from cannabis per se. So it's just a wonderful balance. I'll give you some here, too, to try. I don't know if you've tried the new blueberry.
No, I haven't tried the blueberry yet.
We got first place. Yeah, they submitted a bunch of tinctures and got ourselves a nice little award and all that good stuff.
Did you guys submit that, what is it, the holiday cookie? What else?
We didn't do that yet. Holiday cookie's around, yeah, but we didn't put that one in. We just put in the blueberry. So
nice. Well, you know, congratulations, man.
Thanks.
And I also know, and this isn't a show just to push 101 CBD's products.
Yep.
I've actually asked him here because he started telling me about how CBD got patented. We're going to get to that in a bit. But first, also, I want to talk about this because it's coming up, your new product launch.
Mm-hmm.
So what is it? A massage cream?
It's massage lotion. And we have some massage lotions.
I like how you say that nice and low. You get some massage lotion.
So we already have a massage line. We do have topicals. A lot of masseuses here in Southern California love our products, and their clients do. And we hear about it all the time. Just amazing pain relief, like really deep in there. And so we've been working on that product for about 9-10 months now, and we are releasing it next week at MJ Biz. There's a private party, kind of like one of those things from you have to bring a hard-boiled egg to the liquor store in New York to find your way into the event. It's kind of like one of those. It's called Golden Key 3.0, where you literally have to have a golden key. Do
you have to find the albino also?
I think so.
Find the albino in the red suit.
Exactly. What? Crow flies at midnight. Anyways, and so we're going to do a launch there. Bob Hoban Law Group's putting it on. They're launching a new company called GPS. It's for international cannabis. And, you know, anything Bob does, I'm right there with him.
Hey, so I was wondering, I know you're kind of tight with Bob. You think I can get on the phone with Bob?
Of course.
He's busy. I know he's busy.
He only charges $420 an hour. So
really,
no, he's great.
We'll work it out.
You got to book about a month to get on his schedule now, is what I've seen. But he's a really cool guy, down to earth, and he is the attorney that when the DEA was being sued by HIA, he was the one in the room doing the arguing. I mean, so that's the kind of guy that Bob is. So he's like the guy.
See, I want to see I want to know what he sees coming up.
Oh, if you Google him, he's got a really good information. He does a weekly newsletter. He tells you his thoughts about international cannabis and hemp and CBD. And he's into seeds too, Bija seeds. So he sees the long game. I mean, he talks about the plastics and making the batteries out of the hemp and using the whole hemp, like the buffalo. I know we talked about like the green buffalo, and
I like it. I was telling you, if I ever go, totally Native American, I want to be known as the green buffalo.
And so Bob knows about the plant, and he sees the 5 to 10 year projection of where the infrastructure is going to be in place. That we're not just going to grow hemp for CBD. It's going to be one thing that we do, and obviously it's very lucrative right now. But as the infrastructure gets in place, we can start making plastic bottles that biodegrade into the soil within 90 days. We can start making batteries that can get solar powered and the energy from that. Obviously, there's the paper and the clothing, and it's exciting times ahead. It's going to take a little while for the infrastructure and the processing plants and everything to get there, but hang in there and make sure when you're harvesting your crop that you separate out the crops into like 5 different piles of each one, and each one of those like stalks and what was done after the extraction. You can use and reuse all this, and some of it's even being reused for farm animals and bedding and things like that, because it's really good antibacterial and things, so like chicken farms and things. It's never ending with this plant.
yeah. We were talking about how even if you till it under, it's really good. It's really good for the soil because you'll have less pests, less fungus or anything like that the next year. Yep. So how many types of hemps are there, though? I mean, because I know, so I've seen the one for flour, for, whatever we use for extraction or smoking, which you can't tell it apart from the drug form of cannabis. You really can't. Not by sight. At least I can't.
Yeah.
Either sight or smell or touch, it all looks exactly the same, and I was completely surprised when I saw it.
Yeah.
I expected... Well, what I've seen in Mexico, what I'm more familiar with is the textile form of hemp, a lot taller, a lot looking more like bamboo, more sparse as far as nodal spacings and the buds. I was like, how are they extracting this from hemp? That's the only thing I could imagine. I was like, Jesus Christ, must take a lot of it.
Yeah.
But how many like varieties do we use?
Well, a lot of them all trace back from R1, and then it came to R2, and then there was Charlotte's Web, and there's cherry wine. So I would say, there's a couple dozen. A lot of people are kind of making their own. We've done some genetics with ours as well, of taking some high CBD and merging it with some feral hemp from Nebraska, which is where I grew up. And, it's been around in our country or our continent since 1604. I believe it's when the Spanish brought it over. So we know that it's been around for, over 400 years. So why not combine a plant that's been around for longer than the country has with a high CBD strain? And, we're always going to be trying to figure things out. I'm so excited to see where the industry goes with genetics. We're going to be able to grow plants specifically for cancer, specifically for rheumatoid arthritis, specifically for autism, which is what we got started with. So it's really, I'm just so excited with the terpenes and the cannabinoids. It's just going to be amazing. We're going to be growing our own little plants in our backyard and healing ourselves with a plant that's set up just to help us, and whatever it is that we're looking to achieve with our health.
So, I mean, I don't know if you know this or not, but you mentioned plastics earlier. Is there a certain variety of hemp that we're growing just for plastic, or is it just the leftover biomass that we're using after whatever
It's
extraction?
the leftover. Then again, so you're going to decide, are you growing it for fiber? Are you growing it for rope? Are you growing it for CBD? The CBD strains are obviously going to have more flower intensive that look more like traditional cannabis, you would think. So, yeah, as time comes and infrastructure gets put in place, we're going to be able to use the CBD hemp to make the plastics and do all those kinds of things. But down the way, there'll be people that'll be growing just hemp for specific, things like that, because they'll have the infrastructure in place and they'll want to, grow 20,000 acres of this particular hemp just to make plastic, or knowing that that's what the bulk of this one's for. There will be, and Bob is, already doing that. There are going to be varietals that are specifically for that more industrial hemp.
Yeah, that'd be a trip to see what kind of variety kind of lends itself more to plastic.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've heard some things of the early plastic they were making. I guess it makes a lot more noise than regular plastic. Which I was like, really? That's holding us back?
Yeah.
Water bottles making more noise? They're fucking loud.
And we already know what's going on with the ocean and everything, and the plastic and the trash, and to be able to have something that comes from the ground that goes back in the ground in 90 days, it's going to be a game changer. So I'm excited to see it happen.
Yeah, it's going to be a trip to see. But okay, completely changing topics. All right, so a couple of weeks ago, I called you up and I had to pick your brain because I was on this whole trip of wondering why America's still hanging on to this, or how we even came to embrace this threshold of a low THC for hemp, for whatever industrial hemp of 0.3. Mm-hmm. Why is it we don't just, let it go a little higher to under 1%? Mm-hmm. And you took me on this ride about how CBD got patented last year by, was it GW Pharmaceuticals?
Yeah, a few years back. Uh-huh.
So my next question, I had a bunch of questions after that. First of all, what does that mean? Because the CBD industry is huge, and I see it everywhere.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's just because, the circles I run in or certain things, maybe. But just the term CBD is still out there, and a lot of people's companies are still attached to that.
Yeah.
How if it's a patented thing, is GW going after people, or how do you even enforce that?
Well, it's a lot of ways to answer that. So right now, the FDA and the USDA are putting up initial drafts, and they're trying to figure out how they're going to regulate or police CBD, and it's going to take a while, and they're not always going to get it right out of the gate. So I know the USDA came out with some initial drafts, and we wrote some pushback for them, and like testing and things like that. So the long of it, right now, if you're making a product with a CBD isolate, and that's on your lab test results, and you're putting the word or letters CBD on your bottle, you are jeopardizing them being removed from stores, as it happened here in Southern California recently in the last 6 months, because companies like GW Pharma wanted to see what they could exercise in, enforcing their patent. So they were able to use the California Health Department to pull off products off shelves. And that happened. I haven't heard anything too recent. I know that I'm on the California Hemp Council, and we had that AB 228 bill going through, but we got a little greedy, and we put in, not only could CBD be sold in retail stores and food in California, which was the primary reason of AB 228, but we just had so much momentum that we decided to throw in there that we could also sell CBD in the dispensaries, hemp-derived CBD in dispensaries, and then all hell broke loose.
So
then it got pushed back.
All right, so educate me on that. As much as you can. Why can't dispensaries sell CBD products?
They can.
Well, okay,
just not in our state yet.
All right, now you're just fucking with me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why can't they sell them in California? Like, there's, from what I've heard, even from dispensary owners, they're a little upset about that rule as well. That, they're allowed to sell this drug form of cannabis, but the actual just a hemp-derived form of CBD with a bit of THC in it. How does that? I don't know how much you can tell me about that.
Well, it's follow the money, right? Always. So, and again, it's California, where there's like the 6th largest GDP. So anytime we make a decision, there's a lot of factors that go into it. So the cannabis
committee, it's got to go through committee,
it's
man.
Nuts. The California Cannabis Control Board, everybody wants the power to control CBD, right? You want to be able to control. They want to control the cannabinoids. So It's just one of those things where it's a federally legal plant now, and since 2018, so you can't. But we're going to have to come to the negotiation table again. We will in January, February, and discuss. Testing is really what it comes down to. There's the Sherman Act, and there's some other OSHA things that we have to make sure that cannabis has a really great testing procedures in place right now, which is great. That's obviously more for the recreational side of the plant, whereas we're talking about CBDs more for the the supplement health side of the plant. So we're going to get there, just as long as and the biggest thing that I always want to tell people that it's all one plant. We need to continue to lift each other up. There'll be plenty of time for us to, run the blue light specials and do all the airline wars with pricing and market share. But let's get this plant up and get everybody who's out there and who could be benefiting from it to try it. Let's get through the stigmas. Let's remember that this is just as legal as growing corn in your backyard, just with some, seriously high, healthy benefits waiting for you.
So then you really do think that little dispensary bit in what you guys submitted, that's what sank it?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Well, and it's okay, and it is what it is, and we had 0 nay votes all the way through all the subcommittees of the California state, so we were just like, we can do no wrong.
We can do anything.
Come on, let's find out who shot JFK. No, but so anyways, yeah. At the end of the day,
you guys
we got greedy.
You guys handing out capes way too soon about superheroes.
Yeah, we were counting the chickens, and so anyways, we'll get it figured out. Hopefully Q1 here, at least getting the whole CBD food, sold in retail stores completely simple and clear. So we'll get there.
So is there any kind of limitation of how often you can submit a bill for them to vote on it?
I mean, it's they run in like quarters, so
it's like every 3 months you got to pull it
and
together.
It's not easy. You got to go through the subcommittees, and we already did all the legwork, and then like I said, at the last minute, we swung for the fences a little too much. So this time we'll probably just go through and keeping it very simple, just on focusing on the retail CBD, and then get that resolved. And then we'll come to the table with the Cannabis Control Board and the cannabis community, and just work together. Let's figure out solutions. We all know the power of this plant now and how it can help people, and let's just not get greedy. Let's just everyone come with an open mind, and let's be fair and reasonable.
You sound like a man who's been yelled at by the public. We're going to talk about that too. I want to talk about that that city council meeting or whatever you saw. But no, getting back on track about first CBD and how. So let's say I come out with the product. Alex is CBD. Mm-hmm. Can GW come after me? They can say,
if it says CBD on it,
yeah, they're like, shut it down, buddy.
Well, I don't think they would. Again, they wouldn't come after you. The only thing that I've ever heard is that they have pulled products off shelves that have CBD on the label.
Much the same thing as coming after me. Once again, you're splitting hairs with me.
But I think they just pull the product. You know what I mean?
They allow me to.
You're not getting a fine or anything like that. So.
Oh, well, all right. That's.
Yeah. And I think you might even get your product back that was pulled.
It's free advertisement, at the very least.
Yeah.
But wow, so that's why everybody's coming up hemp, huh?
Yeah, and if you look on our bottles, it's 101 hemp on the logo. So we knew that from Bob and Patrick Goggin, who's also on the California pub. He told us that years ago.
I need to start changing those promos, man.
Yeah, well, the up on the radio waves is fine.
Really?
It's what matters is on the label. That's all the FDA does is they're the marketing police. So they really are only looking at what something actually is physically on, something that can be read. So, right. And we're a podcast anyways. We're not even with FEC and all that.
Yeah, we're in another space. Well, no, I just want to make sure people are finding you correctly. That's
go to the website,
101cbd.org,
places. Yeah, or 101hemp.org, or go to In My Grow.
There you go. Go to inmygrow.com. You can find us.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And I really look forward to, and I was just speaking at this panel over in San Diego about telling people that hemp is legal and you can grow it in your backyard. It's not cannabis. It is a legal product that you can grow in your backyard. And I know all the fine work that you've done, and we've worked on growing some fun things. And there's so many people out there that when I told them that in the panel yesterday, their eyes just lit up and they were so excited and they wanted to try grow seeds and put it in their shakes and eat it with their salads and just try the true healthy. We always say if you want to get high, heat it. If you want to get healthy, eat it. And so people are really excited. And I look forward to seeing you do a lot of help with people that can help, grow in their backyard.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's, and I don't know, the kind of funny thing is that if somebody sees it, they're like, oh my God, it's cannabis. It's like, no. Mm-hmm. But, and that's why I said it earlier, you really, I can't tell. No. I was
you've been around the block.
I was totally surprised. I was like, holy shit.
Yep.
There's a reason why people are pulling over on the side of the 126, just like embracing it, hugging this thing like it's a teddy bear.
I've seen the pictures.
Now, another thing I wanted to ask you about specifically was how much would it change for producers, cultivators, when we do change that THC limit to under 1% instead of this kind of crazy, really low, really not hard to obtain.
Yeah.
But it just does add another layer of shit you got to worry about to under 1%.
It would be great. It would really give us a lot more margin, when we're growing the plant. Right now, I was at that Board of Supervisors meeting, and Ed Cunningham, I believe, is the ag commissioner. They had 96 plots that they tested, and only 2 came back hot. And the 2 that came back hot were 0.4 and 0.5. And right now there's remediation, which you have to just get rid of all of it.
Yeah.
Put it into the ground.
You can't.
Which you could still use that and make plastic, or you could still use that and make rope and all those other things. But right now, and we're working on this, they're just saying burn it. Put it into the ground.
Well, you see, that's what I thought was really interesting is one of the companies that grows cannabis, Henry's Originals, they do a CBD pre-roll, but it's 0.5.
Okay.
Which I thought was really smart because, they may be growing just CBD pre-rolls for themselves, and if it comes back hot, they're like, fuck it, throw it in the, rec market.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, I thought that was because they're like, oh, yeah, we got CBD pre-rolls. I was like, how's that? They're like, yeah, it's a 0.5 or up. I was like, wow.
Yeah. I've seen it around. People are certainly asking for it, and whatever floats your boat.
It's a waste of my time. Smoke something.
I know.
I'll just take it internally. If I'm going to smoke it, there's a reason. But that's just me. I get it. Whatever.
If you're going to decarb the plant, you might as well get something out of it. Turn that THCA into THC.
You know what? A lot of the pre-roll thing, here's why it bugs me.
Yeah.
Here's why I don't know about it. I don't know if it's offense. Maybe a little bit of offense.
Yeah.
Is because a lot of the people coming to the pre-roll scene seem to be these same kind of people who came to the craft beer scene with the beards and the flannels. Mm-hmm. And, I love you all. Your beard and your flannel is great. I'm wearing a flannel now. I've got a little bit of... But anyways, no, I'm not... Yeah, so... I don't know. Is it... Let's look cool and smoke a light joint?
I've never...
Like a near beer?
Miller Lite?
Yeah, like a near beer?
I've not tried it yet. So... But yeah, I know it's out there and it's popular, and there's probably some calming benefits that you would get out of it.
I'm sure it's just like, same kind of thing. It comes on within 20 minutes. You feel relaxed, all those things. I've heard people, it's great for seceding from smoking, which, by the way, a buddy of mine handed me a pack of, they're called hemp rets that he brought back from Texas. I forget what the fucking line was, but they tasted terrible. Mm-hmm. I couldn't believe it. I was like, this tastes...
Did it have a filter or no filter?
No, it had a filter on it. That's also what tripped me out. I was like, well, what are they filtering exactly? Why do we... But, I guess not every...
So you're not looking to get any sponsors from CBD pre-rolls?
From big CBD pre-roll? No. I'm not worried about it. They can send me samples. I could be wrong. Look, I liked Henry's Original. It was great. Tasted great.
Yeah.
But...
No kick.
Well, for me, halfway through it, in my mind, subconsciously, I'm still waiting for it to come on, right? It's like, hey, man, yeah. I was like, wait, no, it's not going to come on like that. You know? So I just...
Yeah.
But Henry's, I like the rest of your stuff. Anytime you want to come on the show, man.
Absolutely. Send samples. In my grow.
I'll do an unboxing. It'll be great. But we'll talk about that later. So what else you got coming up, buddy?
Well, that Golden Key 3.0 on Wednesday, December 11th, that's our big launch for the massage line, which is going to be called 4 Space Play. Pretty fun play on words. And
it's trying to get all sexy for the holidays.
Well, and it's going to be directly to the consumer. It's $77 a bottle, 8 ounce, 500 milligrams.
When does it go on the website?
It should go on just after the event. So coming up right here before Christmas, probably December 13th. And for that intimate time when it's just you and your your significant other,
Amen.
then make it happen, and you get that foreplay there for, and yeah, so it'll be fun.
New Year's is coming up. Everyone's
Yeah.
always looking for that. What are we going to do special? Come
there
on.
you go. Come out and check out our massage lines.
See? Awesome.
So yeah, that's what we got coming up. MJ Biz should be fun. I'm going to walk the event out there, and hang out with Bob Hoban's group. He has that GPS is the new company that's coming up. So, and then after that, hopefully we can take some time and enjoy the holiday season. And we have some great promotions that we're doing on our website and whatnot. But yeah, I'm just looking forward to taking a couple days off. It's been pretty crazy this year, and grateful and humbling and very honored to be a part of the healing process. But
You going out of town? You going to stay home?
we usually go up to the mountains up there by Fraser Park and rent a little Airbnb
Sure.
and mess around. The kids get to see snow once a year. And,
Yeah.
And the wife skis, and I sit back and watch. So, but watch some football, relax, hang out with family. See what kind of ham and fun stuff you can whip up for the holidays.
Right on. What am I doing? It's my birthday tomorrow. No, wait. What's today?
7th.
It is my birthday tomorrow.
There you go. Well,
Yeah.
happy birthday.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, I may edit that out. I don't know if I want to share that. It might be too much information.
No,
How
that's
much
fine.
access do you want people to have?
Oh, they could find that on Facebook anyways. You're good.
No, here's the thing, though, about Facebook. I put on, because, excuse me, because I'm a December kid, so my birthday has always been close to Christmas, which sucked. You never got happy birthday wrapping paper. You always got happy holidays or a snowman. You're like, what the fuck is that?
And you kind of get gypped a little. You feel like you maybe could have gotten more presents if they were stretched out a little further.
Well, I have a joke that I tell people about that,
Okay.
and that's I used to get one shoe on my birthday and the other shoe on Christmas.
There you go.
So by the
Bada
end,
boom.
there you go. I'm here every Sunday.
That's right. Tip your waitress.
Yeah,
Try the
there you
veal.
go. Yeah. What was I talking about?
Your birthday's coming up.
Oh no,
Big
about
plans.
Facebook.
Oh,
About
Facebook, yep.
Facebook.
Uh-huh.
So now what I do on Facebook is I'll pick random days to put up there for my birthday. A couple of times I put the 4th of July only because I'd like to have fireworks on my birthday.
Yeah.
And for everybody to celebrate it. What's better day than
And
the
do
4th of
people
July?
hit you up like,
Oh,
my
yeah,
God, happy birthday?
And that's how I know who are these kind of friends that are on the on the
peripheral.
edges. Yeah, the peripheral friends, or internet friends. Oh, thank you. But you know what? Everybody likes a birthday wish. Come on, man. Middle of the year.
Yep.
It's a great time. Barbecue and birthday wishes. That's going to be like the title of chapter 7 of my book.
Yep.
Barbecue. No, but
Absolutely.
Justin, brother, hey, man, thank you for coming on the show.
You
bro.
bet. Anytime, anything we can do to help. You guys know where to find us at 101cbd.org. And so we got a store in Ventura, store in Ojai, and we just opened one up in Denver. And I think we're going to do another one in Omaha. And then we're also looking at Portland and Seattle. So look for us out there on that highway. Any questions at all? Omaha, Nebraska. That's where I grew up.
Huh?
Yeah.
That's
So I got
right,
some
yeah.
family out there that's in the business. But
Nice.
yeah, and remember, we also do give away free products to any family affected by autism. Just reach out, send us an email, give us a place to send it to. We do half off for cancer, half off for Alzheimer's, dementia, anything severe. We really believe in the power of this plant. We want to work with Alex and teach everyone how to grow it, man. Grow this plant, and you know what you're doing, and grow it in your backyard. Grow the hemp for free, and then also if you want to grow cannabis, it's California. You can grow 6 plants, no big deal of cannabis too. So
Hopefully coming worldwide.
we're getting there. We'll get. I mean, how far we've come is amazing, and I'm just blessed and happy that we're here. So.
Yeah, it's a trip how far it's come.
And anything we
sure.
can do to help, that's what I say. So, but yeah, thanks for having me on, brother.
All right, everybody. I'm going to play a little bit of music, and then I'll be back. Well, buddy, I hope you enjoyed that. I know I did. I always have a great time talking to that guy. Again, I want to thank Justin for taking the time to come on the show. I really do appreciate his time. If you have a question or a comment about this episode, send me an email, inmygrow@gmail.com, or you can find me on Instagram, that is @inmygrowshow. You can also find me on Cannabis, that is @AlexRobles. Well, my friends, you know what? That's the end of my notes. That's all I have to share with you today. So just a reminder, if this episode has entertained you, educated you, or even given you a little escape from your day, do me a favor, go over to patreon.com/inmygrow and leave a financial donation. That money just helps me pay for hosting fees and buy equipment and just keep the show going. It just makes it easier. If you don't want to leave a donation over at Patreon, you can go over to inmygrow.com and click on the support the show tab, and you can buy a t-shirt. Or even easier, especially for the holidays, before you go shopping to Amazon, click on the Amazon link at the top of the show notes so they know that we sent you and the show gets a commission. But remember, if you can't support the show financially, don't worry about it. I get it. Here's how you can help though. Subscribe to the podcast wherever you're listening. Then go over to YouTube and search for the In My Grow Show with Alex. And then subscribe to the YouTube channel. And by the way, I want to thank everybody for subscribing to the YouTube channel. I really appreciate it. It really does help the show standings. And then go over to inmygrow.com and subscribe to the website. And after you do all that subscribing, do one more thing. Tell 3 other people about the show. That's it. Real simple. Well, mis amigos, my friends, I'm going to get up out of here. But I will talk to you guys in a couple of days because, this Sunday I will be on a regular Sunday schedule. Now you know that I love you all very much. And remember to always grow, learn, and teach.